Greetings, friends. This is the reading for the month of July for the collective. And with this, we have 8 different questions that all lead up to this black egg. And on the side, I have the stingray, which is the overall energy of the spread, which is essentially building a spine and having self-confidence. And so you'll see that as we move through, starting from the zebra up through the black egg. So this is really allowing us to step into our truth and step into not only the truth for ourselves, but the truth for the world around us and what we envision moving forward in not only July, but for the rest of the year and our lives. So the first question we ask is, who are we now? And we have the energy of the zebra. Zebra is eccentric, creative, a visionary, opening our minds, expanding our worldview, contributing to global health through environmental or volunteer work. So in thinking about that, the first thing that came to mind was majority of us, or many of us, are working from home or not leaving the house very much. And so with that, we're already lowering our carbon footprint and already helping the planet breathe a little bit better and thrive a little bit better with less smog and things like that. But there are still ways that we can continue to help move the earth forward and to heal and thrive along as ourselves in it. And so with that, if we're still ordering things online, making sure that we're ordering locally versus something overseas, making sure that if we're getting multiple shipments, try to bundle them all into one shipment instead of small packages here and there. And then also, if you're ordering online, trying to order from small businesses, local companies, rather than ordering from big corporations that are usually getting things overseas or are also monopolizing the funds and not putting it back into our communities. So those are just some of the things that you can do at home to continue to lower your carbon footprint. Other things can be, checking how much water you're using when you shower, putting a bucket or something like that in the sink or in the tub when you do shower to conserve some of that water, and then put that back out into the plants or into the grass and things around you, or to wash things later on. So again, it's tapping into that creative space of how can we show up creatively for ourselves and for the world around us, and being open to things. And you'll see as we move through this deck the importance of being open and of transformation and creativity and envisioning the life moving forward and opening up our minds to new possibilities. We're already seeing that. So the way things have been do not have to be moving forward, whether it's through looking at reallocating funds from the police to schools and education and mental health services, whether it's looking at where you work versus where you live and how you're contributing money to different areas. There's a new way that we can function in the world. And when I hear that, a new way, I hear that Hamilton song, Just You Wait. And he's saying, like, just you wait until you see what I do in the world. And we're seeing that as like, just you wait until you see what we're envisioning come into fruition. And we're already starting to see that. And it's an exciting time of the unknown and of what we can create from this space. So really get creative about your future and the future of the community and the country and the planet and yourself. And also in that creativity is, a lot of us can get bogged down in what is the problem that we're seeing, and we can feel really overwhelmed with how much pain there is in the world. But rather than focusing on the pain, let's focus on the solution, not the problem. How can we create solution around the pain that we're seeing so that we can prevent it from happening in the future? So Again, that's focusing on our own pain. Where are parts of our lives where we're still feeling painful or projecting that pain onto others? And how can we create a solution for ourselves to heal that? And so the second question is, what is obstructing us from seeing ourselves clearly? And this card literally jumped out of the deck, which is the elephant, which is the energy of Ganesh. Ganesh is the remover of obstacles, and to, in some places, put obstacles in your way to put you into a new route and to redirect you. So what's the open path? What are ways that you are seeing clearly? And are you standing in your own way? If there's something that you've been wanting to do for a long time, but you've constantly told yourself no, or constantly have told yourself, or have talked yourself out of it, change that story and create something new for yourself. If this path is open for you and there are other obstacles in your way, redirect yourself, redirect your energy into something that flows rather than always having to feel resistance coming up. When there's resistance, there's opportunity for flow in other ways. And whether that's negative thoughts or self-doubt, or again, focusing on the problem and feeling helpless rather than the solution, and taking action and finding resources or researching, there are new ways to look at things. And so if you've been bogged down and looking at something the same way, change the script, change the way that you see the thing that's in your way. And instead of seeing it as an obstacle, just see it as, oh, maybe I'm supposed to go in this direction. Or if that negative thought comes in, it's like, well, is that even true? And you're going to see that come up a lot in this spread. Is that true? And in this weekly reading that I do, one of the practices for the week is to do the work of Byron Katie. And the first question of the 4 questions is this true? And if this statement or this scenario isn't true, then why am I telling myself this story about it? And how can I change the story around this situation? So again, it's looking at the path that is clear. And when it's not clear, looking at it as, is this a redirection? Or is this something that I'm supposed to learn from this situation? Is there a way for me to get something that I've been wanting to have that I haven't looked at it in that way before? So begin to research, begin to find resources, begin to take action in a new direction or in seeing things in a new way. The third question is, what actions will stop me from second-guessing myself? And as a collective, what actions will stop us from second-guessing ourselves? And that's the energy of the hawk. The hawk is watchful, all-seeing, a bird of divinity. So seeing yourself as a divine being in a human body and seeing every little detail. Why is this happening for me versus why is this happening to me? When you say to me, you're releasing control into something else. You're saying that you don't have control over your life or over how you see things or how you do things. But when you see things as happening for you, then you begin to see things as you having control over your life and you having control over how you see and react in situations. You begin to see things as a gift or as a lesson versus it as a punishment or something that is going up against you. So again, it's getting out of your own way and changing the way that you perceive things and seeing things in the details as a gift rather than as an obstruction or as something that you have to fight against. So remember that you are your own divine being. You are the creator of your reality. Imagine if you chose this life before you came into it. How is this obstacle or how is this instance or scenario something that you chose for you to grow in this life? And so coming from that space and coming from that space of divinity and of creator, then how would you perceive the situation in front of you? Number 4 is a new project to take on or new actions to take now, and that's the energy of the wolf. And it's interesting because July, the first half of the month, is in Cancer season, and it has to do a lot with family and with feelings and with home. And the wolf is the guardian of family, tribe, ritual, activism, humanitarian efforts, and ritual. Practicing tolerance helps balance out wolf energy. So one of the things that came up was you find freedom through discipline, and you have discipline through ritual. So every day for myself, I have a rising ritual, things that I do when I get up in the morning. The first thing I do is get up, go to my meditation mat, do a 20 to 30 minute meditation and breath work. And then I'll either pull a tarot card or I'll get into journaling depending on what comes up for me during meditation. And then at some point, if I do pull a card, then I'll meditate or then I'll journal after about what came up during meditation and through the card. Or if I remember my dream, that's the first thing that I'll do is I'll write my dream down first so that I remember as much as I can. And that way I can come back to that later and see what the message is from that dream for me. So by having that ritual in the morning, I'm providing that discipline for myself, and that's providing me freedom for the rest of the day to, one, that meditation practice helps me come back to center. And in moments where I might be quick to react before, I might take a step back and observe the situation rather than react in an old way, particularly around family. I'm living with my mom right now, and she is my biggest teacher, and there are moments where the past I would lash out and I would scream and I would yell, but now I'm recognizing, all right, what is this here? Again, what is this here to teach me? Why is this happening for me? I chose for this woman to be my mother. What am I learning from this situation? And then going back to that wolf energy, and in this space of new beginnings and envisioning a new life, sometimes we can realize that our family doesn't align with the way that we perceive the world. And so it's allowing for that space of practicing tolerance and maybe planting seeds of how we view the world or how we envision the world moving forward, but not forcing someone to see things the way that we do. Rather just allow for them to hear what you're saying, or for them to intake what you're saying, whether they actually are listening or not. The words are penetrating them, and allowing for that seed to be planted and to flourish on its own. And again, not forcing someone to change the way that they think. You can't do that. You can't force someone to do anything. Accepting them where they are on their journey, and letting that seed that you've planted sprout on its own. And you can continue to water it by sharing more things, but also, again, coming from that place of presence and a place of not trying to change someone, but just allowing for your expression to come through truly. And again, we'll see that later on in the deck of allowing our expression and our expression and our truth to come through, and allowing and accepting people where they are on their path. And for those moments that you're seeing that you might be reacting, okay, where can I take this anger and this fuel? And we'll get to that later in these cards as well. And how can we create change and take action around this to create the world that I wish to see? So again, with this wolf card, focusing on what you can control, how you respond to differences, and using ritual and things like meditation and breath work to bring you back to presence, to continue the control over your life that you have versus trying to project that control onto someone else. This will help you find the freedom or the ease of letting go. And again, with meditation, that's the practice, is letting go of thoughts that come in. Number 5 is, what is a helper that will promote us or that will support us on our path? And that's the fire ant. There's a force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. So rather than seeing something that angers you or a problem that you see and focusing on the problem and just getting angry about it. Focus on the solution and be in the vibration of the solution. Be in the vibration, be in the state and the emotion and the feeling of what you want to call in, what you want to cultivate. And that way that attracts that energy towards you. Seeing things as happening for you, focusing on the solution, not the problem. This card says stewing on a person or situation will make matters worse. So see the difficult people as teachers. See a problem, find a solution. What are those people or circumstances bringing up in you that you need to work on or change? And if you're feeling this fire, cool down, take a step back, and focus on what you can control. You can control your emotions and you can control how you take action. Let the fire of the ant energy fuel you, not burn you out. So again, when you're feeling like you're constantly going and you're constantly working, take a step back and cool down. Give yourself that space to recalibrate, re-energize, and then again, let the fire fuel you, not burn you out. So how will we be able to measure our success? Is the Scorpion. Passionate, competitive, tends towards isolation. So if you're feeling burned by something, complain about it, whether it's talking about it to the person or people, or to do your own ritual around healing, learning from that situation, integrating that lesson, and then release the situation rather than stewing on it. And again, it goes back to that fire ant card. Focusing on the solution, not the problem. If you find yourself seeing things as a blessing rather than a curse, if you find yourself alone and working through feelings or pains rather than lashing out, don't turn to things that you've always turned to suppress, whether that's through sex or drugs or alcohol or TV. Take the time to be with yourself, tend towards isolation, and focus on the solution and things that you are passionate about. When you live a life of passion, when you live in Dharma, then you're finding yourself moving forward rather than living in the past and going backwards. We want to move forward in life, and we do that when we are aligned with our passion and when we're in alignment with the vibration that we want to cultivate. So taking time to be with yourself and to envision these things and to be in that feeling of what you want to call in and move forward in. And if you're not doing things that you're passionate about, if you're not living a passionate life, then it's time to start looking at what am I passionate about and how can I incorporate that into my life more regularly. So when you are in passion, you know that you're moving forward. So the next card is the shadow that will be integrated as a result of our process, the heartbreak that will begin healing as we move forward, and that's the Lion. A lion, when in its unbalance, can be seen as withdrawn or too serious. So we're beginning to integrate those lessons and understanding that self-mastery is available to you. So again, controlling your emotions, controlling your scenario, controlling your story, controlling the way that you see things, and being the creator of your reality. Rather than playing a victim, you'll take ownership of your life and your circumstance. If you want to change it, you will. You're getting out of your own way. You're changing the negative self-talk or seeing things as negative and beginning to see things as a way for change, as a way for action, as a way for you to do things differently. You're no longer letting external circumstances dictate who or how you are, and you're beginning to take your power back. And allowing for play to come into your life. So when you begin to live in passion, you're beginning to feel more free. When you begin to create ritual around things that you're passionate about, then you begin to move forward in life. You begin to take things less seriously when you are in a state of joy. And when we do things that we're passionate about, that allows for that state of joy to be present and thorough and continuous rather than momentary or in happenstance. So again, reminding yourself that self-mastery is available to you, and that you can remove the self-doubt, the negative talk. You can remove the victim mentality and take power back over your life. And the last card is brave new terrains of collective that we are claiming, the different stories we're telling ourselves, and the rewards of remaining in our truth and being heart-led. And that is the black egg. Black egg is speaking from an authentic voice, truth. You begin to become a vessel of truth. You speak slowly and clearly. You're drawn to activities like reading, writing, singing, and even public speaking, sharing what you know, sharing your truth, using your voice to move things forward. You're starting to bring in sounds or music or books that draw us into question, what do I know to be true about myself? And again, I go back to the work of Byron Katie, and the first question is it true? If the black egg is not activated, then we say things that others want to hear. Then we begin to repeat stories just to justify our behavior. But when we connect to the black egg, we speak truthfully, we trust ourselves and we trust our intuition, and we don't need to talk ourselves in or out of things. This black egg energy is available to us at any moment, in every situation. It's allowing for us to come back to our center and check in and say what is true, and then to speak that truth moving forward. And in that moment, it's coming from a place of purity and of our highest self. And again, we'll begin to allow for that freedom to no longer having to live in someone else's world and living in our world. No longer having to feel like we need to be quiet or to not share who we are or how we feel, and allowing for that truth to come through and to be our authentic selves. And again, that overall energy of the stingray, building confidence, having a spine, using your voice, being in your truth. It's a both difficult month to face these stories we've been telling ourselves, or these beliefs that we've told ourselves or have had that have blocked us from moving our lives forward at a pace that we deserve. And so moving forward, once we allow for ourselves to confront those shadow aspects, to confront those negative beliefs, and then transform them into the beliefs that we do want to have for ourselves and for our community and for the world, to begin to envision that life moving forward and to be in that energy, and allows for us to be vulnerable, to be ourselves, to be confident, and to speak our truth. Putting down the weight and getting out of your own way, allowing the fire to fuel you, seeing things as happening for you, not to you, and being creative in the process. Be passionate about what you do, be passionate about who you are, and that will create a state of joy rather than moments of joy. I hope that you resonate with this reading, and I hope that July is a fruitful month for you, from the seeds that have planted before to the seeds that you're planting now. And I can't wait to see where each of you are in the end of this month and moving forward. Many blessings and much love as we begin to express ourselves for who we truly are.